Here Sahaba, Rasulullah told them not to eat the meat. They started melting the fat to keep it, because they can't eat. When he asked why are they doing this, they said, you said you shouldn't eat meat more than 3 nights. He said, no, that was because of a reason. So he told them that is not valid anymore. You can eat now. But he never told them, why didn't you do Qiyas? So this is 1 against 1. And we know for sure that Rasulullah was ordering people all the time, and people were not doing Qiyas. And we have never had hadith that Rasulullah has told people, why didn't you do Qiyas? Rasulullah forbade the donkey, and the Sahaba slaughtered a horse. He never said, why don't you do Qiyas? Rasulullah told people, if you go to the mosque, pray 2 rak'ah, and they called it the people to call it Tahiyat al-Masjid. And they never said, and the Sahaba never prayed 2 rak'ah when they leave the mosque. Just like when you go to people's place, you say Assalamu alaikum, and then when you leave, you say Wa alaikum Assalamu alaikum. And they never told them, oh, why don't you use it and do Qiyas? I can give you a lot of examples like this. And he never told them, why don't you do Qiyas? Use your imagination.
We stopped last time with the taking the apparent meaning of the words, and then with Qiyas. And nobody had objections when he was talking. However, then later the brothers were, when they meet everyone individually, they went and asked, and they got some extra proofs. They have some objections against the people who say in religion there is no Qiyas. Or they have objections against the people who say we take the apparent meaning of the words. We have already spoken about this last time, but we have not finished. Of the things that they said about the people who take the apparent meaning of the words, taking the apparent meaning without looking deep inside the meanings, they have some objections. How are you going to understand this ayah? How are you going to understand this hadith? Before that, I mentioned last time that the Prophet, whenever there is an ayah in Quran and someone comes and take the apparent meaning of the ayah, never the Prophet has said to someone, you are wrong, you shouldn't take the apparent meaning of this ayah, except by giving him another ayah, referring him to another verse. So he will tell him, you shouldn't take the meaning of this verse except by giving him another verse that he should have taken in the same time with the verse that he has from where he has taken the ruling. It is not fit for someone to take the apparent meaning of one ayah, of one verse, and leave the other verse. Before you take ruling from Quran and Sunnah, you have to put all the verses that are concerns that ruling. Like when the Sahaba read this ayah, when this ayah was revealed, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُم بِظُلْمٍ, those who has brought belief, iman, and they have never mixed their iman with oppression, with injustice. The Sahaba were sad, where they got troubled. They said to the Prophet, who amongst us didn't mix his belief with transgression or injustice? Because anything that you do haram is transgression. Normally, if you lie, this is transgression against it's the right of Allah that you don't lie. It's haram, it's injustice to lie, it's injustice to commit riba, to steal. And no human being is immune from doing such mistakes. So the Sahaba were troubled. They said, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if guidance and security is only for the people who have not mixed their belief with transgression, then we have no security. We are not guided. the Prophet referred them to another ayah. He said, haven't you heard what Luqman told his son? Inna shirka la dhulmun azim. That shirk is the biggest transgression. So he didn't tell him, oh, you shouldn't take the apparent meaning of this ayah, you have to use your intelligence, your intellect. No, you have to use the other ayah. You have to put all the ayat, the verses together and come out with a ruling. All the time when the Prophet was asked such questions, like when Aisha said, when Hafsa told him, the Prophet said that no one from the people who have been in Badr battle and the battle of Hudaybiyah will go to hellfire, will enter hellfire. Hafsa said, didn't Allah say, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا? None of you except that he will go inside it, the hellfire? He said, didn't Allah say, ثُمَّ نُنَجِّي الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا, and then we will save those who have believed? So he referred her to the other ayah. He didn't say, oh, how can you should know that this is only for the kafirs, or he referred her to another ayah. We don't have any, you will never find in Sunnah where someone has taken the apparent meaning of ayah of Quran or Sunnah and the Prophet criticized him for doing that. However, we find many places where people who didn't take the apparent of meaning of the words to be criticized by the Prophet. I gave some examples last time, like the man who was praying and the Prophet called him and he didn't go to him, and the Prophet told him, why you didn't come when I called you? He said, I was praying. He said, didn't you know that Allah said, answer the Allah and the Prophet when they call you? So he criticized him for not taking the apparent meaning of the ayah. The Sahaba were taking the apparent meaning of the ayah. The Prophet have taken the pledge from people to not to ask anyone for anything. Bay'ana Rasulullah, we have given the Prophet the pledge not to ask people about anything. Now you can say anything doesn't mean anything. This is normally what people who don't take the apparent meanings say. That doesn't mean anything. Don't ask him money. This is what the Arab will understand. Don't ask money. Don't ask for people property of people. That doesn't mean that, okay, if your mobile fall down and you can't go down to take it, that you don't ask someone to help me. It's fine, nothing. That you ask someone for direction if you don't. But this is the Sahaba who gave this pledge. This is what they were doing. Someone will be on the back of his horse and his whip fall down. He will not even ask someone, give me my whip. He will go all the way down and take it. And then when he is asked, he say, I gave the pledge to the Prophet not to ask anyone anything.